The interstellar academy of Neares Prime bustled with voices in 100 languages. The sprawling campus of crystal towers was where humans and dozens of alien species came together to train for exploration, diplomacy, and science. Jonah Mercer, an Earth-born cadet, often felt lost in the world of cultures. Humanity was still a young member of the Galactic Concord, and though tolerated, they were seen as awkward, clumsy newcomers. Jonah kept mostly to himself, focusing on his studies, speaking only when needed. That is, until he met Lyrie Valen. She was Aurelian, tall, graceful, her skin faintly shimmering like starlight, her silver hair flowing down her back. Her golden eyes could unsettle even the most confident cadet. To Jonah, she was a kind of presence that made him stumble over words. They had been paired for a xenolinguistics exercise, practicing phrases in each other's languages. The goal was simple: exchange greetings, compliments, and polite conversation without errors. But Jonah was nervous. Too nervous. He glanced at his notepad, meaning to say in Aurelian, "You speak clearly," but his human brain twisted the vowel. Instead, what came out was, "You are gorgeous." The air froze. Lyrie blinked, her golden eyes widening. A faint glow touched her cheeks, a sign of a blush in her species. Around them, a few other cadets snickered. Jonah's ears burned with embarrassment. I meant, he stammered, scrambling for correction, to say you speak clearly. I mess up the vowel. But Lyrie tilted her head, her blush deepening, and whispered in accented English, "Say it again, human." Jonah's heart nearly stopped. Middle, the shimmer of something new. The incident spread through whispers across the academy. A human cadet had dared to call an Aurelian girl gorgeous. Whether by mistake or intention, no one knew. To many, it was laughable. To others, scandalous. But Lyrie did not treat it as a scandal. Instead, she began to seek Jonah out. At first, under the guise of practicing language more often. Then, to sit with him at meals, though her peers looked on in confusion. She asked questions about Earth, its skies, its oceans, its strange obsession with coffee. Jonah tried to keep his distance. Humans were low-ranked here. An Aurelian girl, the daughter of a powerful family, would have nothing to gain from a friendship with him. But every time she leaned close and asked, in a soft voice, "Say it again, human," his defenses crumbled. One evening, after study hall, they walked together through the Academy's garden dome. Bioluminescent plants glowed in soft hues. Stars shone faintly through the transparent ceiling. Jonah, trying to break the tension, muttered, "You know it was a mistake. I didn't mean to. Well, not that you aren't." Lyrie stopped him with a raised hand. Her golden eyes shimmered in the garden light. On Aurenia, compliments are not given lightly. They are binding, almost sacred. When you spoke, even by mistake, I felt it. Jonah swallowed hard. "And that's why you keep asking me to repeat it." She smiled faintly. "Because when you say it, human, I believe it. And I want to believe it." For a long moment, Jonah had no words. He just looked at her, the truth pressing against his chest. Finally, softly, he whispered, "You're gorgeous, Lyrie." Her blush lit the night brighter than the glowing plants. Middle, whispers and warnings. Not everyone approved. Rumors swirled that Jonah was overstepping, that the Aurelian girl was lowering herself by entertaining a human's words. Some cadets mocked him openly. Others warned him to stop before he embarrassed himself further. One afternoon, a fellow Aurelian student cornered Jonah outside the library. Tall and sharp-featured, his tone was laced with disdain. "You think a word can bridge the gap between species? You're a janitor's son from a primitive world. She is nobility. Keep your tongue to yourself, human." Jonah clenched his fists, but before he could reply, Lyrie appeared. She stepped between them, her voice firm and unwavering. He may be human, but his words carry more truth than yours ever will. The Aurelian boy faltered under her gaze, muttered something bitter, and stormed off. Jonah stayed, stunned. You didn't have to do that. Yes, Lyrie said simply. I did, because you see me as something more than status or duty. You call me gorgeous. And every time you say it, I remember I am more than a future political pawn. Her honesty shook Jonah. For all her elegance, all her power, she carried chains he could barely see. Chains of expectation, tradition, duty. And somehow his clumsy human compliment had given her a taste of freedom. Middle, the test of truth. Their closeness drew attention from higher authorities. The Academy's overseers summoned Jonah, warning him that such fraternization could cause scandal. You risk not just your career, human, the dean intoned. You risk destabilizing diplomatic harmony. Do not imagine your words carry weight enough to change an Aurelian's destiny. Jonah nodded respectfully, but inside he burned, because he had already seen the way his words had changed Lyrie, and he would not take them back. That night, in the quiet of the garden dome, he confessed the truth. Lyrie, he said softly, it wasn't really a mistake. Not entirely. Maybe I stumbled over the word. But I meant it. You are gorgeous. More than that, you're kind, curious, brave. Gorgeous doesn't even cover it. Her golden eyes shimmered. Say it again. And he did. This time, without fear, ending the Queen's notice. Weeks later, an unexpected event shook the Academy. The Aurelian Queen herself visited in Aries Prime, arriving in a blaze of ceremony. Students were gathered for her address, their hearts thundering with awe. Jonah kept to the back, certain he would go unseen. But during the procession, he caught sight of Lyrie among the princess's attendants. His stomach dropped. Princess? The truth hit him like a meteor. Lyrie was not just any noble's daughter. She was a queen's own child. The revelation spread like wildfire. The whispers became a storm. The human who called the princess gorgeous. The human she blushes for. Jonah expected punishment, maybe even exile from the Academy. Instead, something stranger happened. During the evening banquet, the queen addressed the gathered students. Her eyes, sharp as suns, swept the hall. I hear, she said slowly, that one of our human guests spoke a word to my daughter. A simple word. Gorgeous. The whole went silent. Jonah's heart slammed in his chest. The queen's gaze fell directly on him. Many scoffed. Many whispered. But I have seen the change in my daughter. She stands taller. She smiles freer. For once, she is not just my heir, but a girl who knows she is valued for herself. She paused, her golden eyes narrowing, then softening. Words are powerful, even those spoken by mistake, especially those spoken with truth. Jonah bowed his head, trembling. When the banquet ended, Lyrie slipped to his side. Her blush was faint but radiant. You survived my mother's gaze, she teased. Barely, Jonah muttered. Then say it again. Human, she whispered, leaning closer. And he did, louder this time, with half the Academy listening. You're gorgeous, Lyrie. She blushed, laughed, and for the first time, took his hand openly. The whispers would never stop. But Jonah no longer cared, because one word had built a bridge no one else believed possible. And every time he said it, the bridge grew stronger.